Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the Pro Dash Fuel level gauge. I know everyone wants to talk about how to set this up, which is pretty simple. You just put the input to the input pin, but a lot of folks aren't getting accurate readings after that. And one of those folks. I'm going to dive into this and use some science and some electrical knowledge and figure out what I can figure out. Oh my God. So what I should be getting on a GM tank is 0 ohms empty and 90 ohms full. That's what my sending unit is calibrated for, so yours may be a little different depending on what year you have or what vehicle you have. Basically, you want to make sure that you're seeing that full range of motion, and you want to make sure that you're seeing proportional ohm readings to what's actually in the tank. And you can map that in the Pro Dash by just making a line, but if your tank is not a perfect square, then it's not going to go, if you have 10%, you might actually have 20% value, or, vice versa. So we're going to map out and make a custom sweep ohm table, if you will. I'll show you guys how to do that. And we're going to figure out what happens when the sending unit introduces noise into the system. Join me, won't you? This is the easiest spot that I can get to my sending unit wire, right where it comes from the body harness on the Chevelle. I already nicked the wire just a touch, and focus on that. You can see what I'm doing? I'm just going to touch that to the wire, and I'm going to touch it to the ground. And eventually my meter's going to do something. Doesn't like that ground. I'm reading 58.9 ohms, 0.8 ohms, 59 ohms. That's about 2/3 full. So let's see what the gauge says. And that's reading 42%. So that means that it's off by about 20%, right? Because I'm at 60 ohms. 90 ohms is full. 0 ohms is empty. So I should read right around, 50-ish, which it's close, I guess. Now I'm going to start the vehicle, and we're going to take a resistance reading again, and we'll see what happens. Take another reading on the wire. Now that we're running, I'm reading 238K, so 238,000 ohms. So why is there that much of an electrical difference in this circuit? So the reason there's such an electrical difference in this circuit is that pump is spinning now. So what's happening is the noise generated by the pump is making like little static in there, and the pump sending unit itself is grounded to that metal piece that goes up and down, which sits on a gasket and then sits on the tank. And then I have the air motive tank, so it tells you to ground the tank to the battery or wherever your ground source is. So that does kind of ground it. It's grounding it, but through the gasket. So yes, it's grounding it for the purposes of the tank working, but for the Holley Dash, it does not like noise at all, 0. So it's not getting a full and complete ground. So what we need to do is we need to take that Pro Dash sending sensor ground, pin 26, and we need to extend that to the actual sending unit. So the sending unit bolts to the tank, and there's the gasket. Then you have to use one of those holes on the top. All right, got my placeholders written here for each gallon. Just took my first measurement. Completely empty, I'm reading 0.6 ohms. Now I got my 1 gallon jug here. I'm going to go ahead and add a gallon in, and then we'll see what that value is. So here's my port map, or my, you call this calibration level curve. There we go. Now I got names for it. So not get a glare. So there's 15 spots along here for your values along the bottom there. Or I can do this with one hand. So there's 15 values here, right? 15 columns, if you will. So to make values line up, empty, not that worried about empty because I'm probably never going to get that close. So I'm just going to take off these bottom two here and that top one, and that's going to give me 15. So what that does is that gives me a range of 15 gallons, and that puts me, you know what, I got to leave the full. So my first resistance value of 15.8 will be 0 level, if you will, but that still gives me 3 gallons in the tank, which didn't have a lot of movement down there anyways. So our low end will be 15.8 instead of 0, and our top end will be 90. We're going to populate that in there, and for a value of 0, it's going to be 15.8. And then we're just going to carry that on up. So I'm going to carry those values on. It'll be 15.8. Next one was 21.1, 26.4. So I'm going to enter these in and bring you back. All right, we got all our table populated here with our box values. So we can get rid of that. Now, if you guys don't have one of these, I will suggest you get one. Little bitty mouse. The receiver deal goes in the, the USB side of the cable that comes out of the back. I just leave mine plugged up, and then this, when you turn it off, goes in the glove box or the center console. It's great because it makes navigating this a whole lot better when you got big old fat fingers like me. It is not focusing, but makes it a whole lot easier doing things. So I try to work around this glare and save that. Hey, Lycos. It showed my age there. And we're going to go back to the dashboard and see what we got. We're at 31, 32. I just primed it a bunch of times, so fuel is slowly going to start pouring back into the tank. As you can see, it's starting to go up a little bit. Well, it wasn't that bad. We got everything to line up. I'm reading within a few ohms of what I should be reading from what the tank says in the back. Getting your Pro Dash to show what you want it to do to your tank is as simple as science. Taking the readings at every step. So you would need 15 steps. The table was close, but it was not what it needed to be. So we got it there. So whatever tank you have, whatever sending unit you have, whatever you have, you can make it work using this method. So got any questions, let me know. Please like, subscribe, do all those things. That helps me out. I'm a small channel trying to get bigger. And we'll see you next time.